Commission on August 14th instituted a resolution to create the early voting precinct. That precinct will be in the courthouse in the room to the side of the clerk's office. That's been all approved. From that, we now have the agreement between all the different townships who have agreed for their election services to be there. Pretty much all the clerks have agreed to the early voting. This will save the township a ton of money because we will not have to have full staff the 9 days early voting. What this is, you guys have all had a chance to look at this. What we're going to do is, what we need is a motion to allow me the privilege to sign this. So we will have one precinct for the early day, 9 early days.
Do I have that motion?
I motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote on this.
I for Susie. Jason?
Yes.
Pat?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Randy?
Yes.
Mr. Supervisor, can I say something, if you don't mind?
Absolutely.
I actually brought the copy that I haven't already signed here, so that will be handy. I just want to remind everybody that this is in addition to the voting options you already have, voting in person on election day in your precinct, and voting locally with your municipal clerk with the absentee ballots. And I want to stress the fact that each day of early voting will have a site supervisor that is a municipal clerk with their election inspectors in the precinct running that precinct. So it will maintain that local piece, local control, because the county is not in the business of taking over elections, as some may accuse us of doing. Print, sign, date. And also, I wanted to just mention that, yes, the laptop will be connected to the internet. It'll have a direct connection to QVF, the qualified voter file. It will not be the qualified voter file, though, because it has to have special sign-ins with multi-factor authentication for just the inspectors to get into it. But it will communicate with the qualified voter file. And that's important because in early voting, now that we're stuck with this, which again, none of us wanted early voting to begin with, but now that we have it, it's important that we do it right and do it securely. And that includes having the ability to tell if someone comes into an early voting precinct and votes, and knowing if they voted absentee somewhere else. You have to have that connectivity so that you see that. But that is a new feature, and it is only for these special laptops that are only used for early voting. As always, the laptops that are used in the precinct are not connected to the internet. They get data that's downloaded on a secure flash drive the night before the election. So they will remain unconnected, as the tabulators have been and will remain unconnected to the internet. So I appreciate your time and your signature.
Is it allowed to have a question to this subject?
No. He wants to ask a question of Abe. We can give him some legitimate.
If you're
3 minutes.
okay with it, with your permission. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now I'm just interested, how many days before the actual day of election is it early voting possible?
It will only be for state and federal elections, and it will be 9 days,
9 days.
starting 2 weekends before the election. That's Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday right before the election. Then you have your Monday without anything other than absentee voting, and then Tuesday's election day is normal.
And you got 1 point. So there is a definite proof that there is no possibility of the early election person also doing absentee voting.
They won't be able to do that with the connectivity of that laptop that's in the early voting precinct, because it will tell if they have turned in an absent voter ballot that's already been voted. And then we will not allow them to vote in the early voting precinct at that point.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for that.
Stephanie wants to ask you a
So
question.
what I'm hearing is that the electronic poll book is evolving for those 9 days. There is not an actual poll book list. It's something that's gonna be changing because it's live connected,
I mean, it'll have a list of voters,
but it's changing.
but it is connected because of what I just discussed.
But it's changing, because names will add in, names will subtract out, supposedly, as registration changes between precincts.
So the qualified voter file has always had that live piece that clerks can see when absent voters are voting. You receive the ballot, you record that as received in the qualified voter file. It records it when you send out the ballot, when you send out the application, when you receive the application. All that has already happened and been happening. This is to allow the election inspectors in an early voting precinct to know if a voter has voted absentee or not, and then to be able to look up what ballot style they need to get to be able to issue them a ballot. And then the other piece to this is the clerk then in the municipality that's still processing absentee ballots will be able to connect to the qualified voter file itself and see, oh, this person just voted in the precinct early voting, so now I can't receive in this absent ballot because they can't vote twice. So.
But just to clarify, it's working in QBF, so the group up here understands QBF is different from the electronic poll book. QBF is downloaded the night before the election, usually at 4 p.m., and that's the poll book that out here uses. And what this is doing is creating 9 days of an evolving poll book, which isn't a poll book, it's just QBF, changing around and around, and then you're saying 4 o'clock, the print in the poll book will be for normal election day. So basically, there's no poll book for those 9 days, it's just the state database that.
I've answered your question, I think, sufficiently.
So the clarification.
Good job.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna move